Doughboy shirt. You know what I'm saying?
23 people
Blending
here
in the
already.
crowd.
Woo-wee.
23 peoples. I got
23
18
peoples.
waiting. What you got?
Mine says 18.
23 concurrent now.
Yeah, he's already got 23 concurrent.
I'm on the dashboard.
Yeah, he's got the real number.
I hope it's real. I don't know.
Okay, just upgrade it.
I'll go for 23 bots.
It's 23 now. Oh, let me make sure that my sound is off here.
Oh yeah, details.
Sure,
An
please,
error
we don't
has
need any-
occurred.
Welcome to How They Got Hacked. What are we, episode
Ooh,
23?
Jordan.
23. We're live.
Ooh,
People are
23.
seeing- 23 with 18 people. Went down. That's all right. 11 likes. There should be at least 20-something likes if there's 20 of you.
Smash the like button.
Smash the like button. Make that algorithm. Make that algorithm happen. What's that? What? Oh, error occurred.
You gotta love Chromebooks.
Yeah.
Have a Chromebook, they say.
Yeah, just pop out the chat.
Hold on, we didn't introduce ourselves.
Oh, yeah, we got to do that. So, Tom Lawrence,
Xavier D. Johnson.
Maurice Nash.
and somebody forgot his laptop. So he's borrowing
Having technical difficulties.
It's been a lot. Balancing multiple laptops,
Ah.
balancing multiple offices. So, yeah.
It's a thing. It's a thing. It's a problem with us. It's Oh,
I'm not sure that this will work out today.
you can at least pull websites up. Because I can.
So it's not letting you view.
The whole entire page is dead here for me. But it's okay. We're not
We'll
going
figure
to
it
derail the entire show for
Yeah.
what seems to be a Google product's incompatibility with yet another Google product.
Yes.
It
Well, it's an
seems as-
A-search. If it was a genuine Google one, though, what was the one they make? What's it? Pixel. Pixel's the one they make.
Oh yeah, the Pixel.
Oh, is that how we're
You
lame?
got
See, but when Apple does that, it's like antitrust, and people are writing blogs and stuff. But let me have an Acer Chromebook. It doesn't work with
doesn't work.
YouTube Live. Say less. It worked when it was pending. The moment we went live, it was like static.
That's crazy. The moment we went live, it just blanked out.
Hey, happens.
That happens. What are you gonna do? What are you
Enjoy
gonna do?
yourself.
Enjoy it.
Drink whiskey.
Ooh, yeah, the
Ooh.
whiskey's over there.
I'm gonna go off camera. It's not like I have anything on my screen.
Yeah, I can drag the whiskey over here real quick.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? I'll go grab that. You guys keep entertaining people.
So, Valentine.
Do you have a Red Bull, Tom?
Red Bulls. Oh man, Red Bulls too. Bring over a Red Bull for all of us. Thank you. We will fill your tip jar.
I don't know.
So I got a story that's really interesting. You guys ready? I can't read the chat, so I don't know what's happening. But I'm gonna give you the story anyway.
I got you.
Weird thing happened. So I'm setting up my my studio, and because I'm trying to do some dope content for you guys, because a lot of people are asking me to do some. So interesting enough, it was like 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. Woohoo! Hold on, you gotta zoom in on it. There you go.
Hey.
El Jackito. Now remember, this is our third episode with this Jack.
Thank you.
It is
Not done.
not done. so this is something that we have to correct. Did we get any cups?
Oh, I should get cups. I'm not
Sorry.
very civil.
Sorry, we don't want to run you around. So anyway, pretty late at night. Not late at night, but like prime hacking hours. And my office is on top of another person's garage, and their garage door goes boop, 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 and it just goes back and forth, like not closing all the way down, but not going all the way up, and it's just going crazy for like 30 minutes. And I'm like, wow, someone's really playing with some radio around here and ruining someone's night, including mine. So that was pretty funny. You always got to kind of watch out. Oh, shout out to the city of Taylor.
And I'm fancy.
You know? Cheers.
Cheers. But that's kind of an interesting problem, because what Xavier's talking about was the issue with what if you got framed? Like, what if someone knew Xavier's there? And
Right? Like, what if
coming
I'm
by Xavier's house and they're like, hey, he's been playing. He posted on Facebook. He said he's got these Wi-Fi and different wireless testing devices, and
he can do on-off keying.
he's fresh from DEF CON. You know, all
Oh.
kinds of ideas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was pretty interesting for me because I'm like, wow, I could just get framed right now. And then it made me think, who could I frame? Unfortunately, in Detroit, I don't know too many people that have the tools that I have. So that definitely also is scary, right?
But there's
'Cause
at least one person hanging out in a Faraday cage who probably has all those tools.
I would assume that there's 7 or 8 people
That's about it.
hanging around.
Maybe
somewhere.
one of them was at one of the DC 313 meetups talking about car hacking, and maybe he even tried hacking my Tesla card.
I cannot confirm. I cannot deny.
For sure. Let's get into some talk though. So this is interesting. This is actually part of what I grabbed a screenshot from. This is this. Did you
Project
guys?
Zero.
Project Zero. New updates for Project Zero. The many possibilities of CVE 2019-8646. It's an unusual vulnerability reported in iMessage. It has a number of consequences, including information leakage and the ability to read files on a device. This blog post discusses ways the attacker can use this bug. It is a good example of how a large number of class available in its NS keyed archiver deserialization can make a bug more versatile. It is also a good example of how minor functions and bugs can make vulnerabilities more useful. And this is really in depth. And what they're talking about is breaking through completely remotely. This is a remote attack on iMessage and being able to exfiltrate data. And I was just like, wow. And they go they dive completely into this and even have an entire proof of concept video that they have in here. It's just, this is like that holy grail you're looking for, is being able to remotely exfiltrate this. So it's
nuts.
Yeah.
Crazy. $1 million bug type shit, man. This is the type of stuff that Apple's like begging for.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sick she did it
Kind of
for.
stuff I'm begging for.
I'm sick
Yeah.
she did it for a normal salary.
Yeah.
I would have had to
And
get
it's not-
this up on the side.
It's not easy. That's why this write-up's so long. It's not like a drop-in. It's not. What was that one in Android a while ago where they were to exploit the media play function? That one was a little bit more interesting.
Stage fright.
Stage fright, was it? Yeah, was that what it's
Stage
called?
fright was dope. That's a fun one.
So it's similar in severity, different in implementation, and it's also very non-arbitrary. So you can't just send someone. It's not like just drop it on them and it just exploits it. But it's still an interesting. And one of the things about, and we bring this up a lot, but if you want to get into this reverse engineering, one of the nice things about these debriefs are you're getting into the mindset of these reverse engineers. You're getting into the mindset of how they did it. They're walking through the processes and everything else. And maybe you have an unupdated iPhone device because this was only fixed, July 23rd. So if you had something that has iMessage on it that was not updated after this July 23rd, well, then you have the opportunity to walk through this exploit and see if you can also do it yourself. Yeah, what?
I have an iPhone that.
Wait, you did not update?
Yeah, it's not this one, but I have one
Okay.
that's not updated.
Oh,
I may have 2 or 3.
Oh, I'm going to point out something funny in the video here. Let me
That's
switch
fun.
to it.
I want to
Do a
play.
video and have some fun.
Yeah, I want to play.
No, watch. This is something I got a kick out of when I was watching a video. So let's go over to
Hold on. Notice the Mac. Did you guys just see the Mac Mini on the screen? Mm-hmm. You notice she got the Mac Mini.
No, I also like the see.
You can't hack on a Mac.
Right,
Sorry.
right in the corner, just below us, and I was going to be on the screen
Updates
here.
not installed.
Here's a security reacher with updates not installed.
You know why? Because who wants to
Be bothered by updates.
wants to do security when you do
Security updates are hard.
There you go.
I did crack up when I watched the video and watching it. And I was like, update's not done.
Yeah, that spinning ball will just waste your
Uh,
time.
Yep.
Yeah,
I updated
yeah.
a system today. I was doing a vlog. I updated the system live on the vlog. That was the very worst thing I ever did. I stopped the vlog midway through. Yeah, that's a bad take. We're just going to restart after this is finished.
Yeah, it's production problems
what you
are
say
a
now,
whole
Chuck?
Oh, you see? Okay, we're gonna go right to
That
this one now.
looks like that gets you in trouble at work immediately.
Warning, adults only.
That HR. You're going to HR. For
I'm
that.
going HR for this one. We laughed at this one, but adult content site exposed personal data over 1 million users.
Yeah.
So the personal email address, some indicating names of government official status, of more than 1 million pornography website users was exposed. Exposed. Anyways,
Exposed.
the email list contained a lot of them ending in .gov, which really made me happy
Oh, boy.
in some stupid way. And they had preferences, blog posts, what they had uploaded, what videos were theirs, and so this is obviously just a giant disaster. And these are the things that are driving us nuts because it's going to be related to the next one we talk about. These are just basically open databases. They're not even. This isn't even how they got hacked. It's just how they were too dumb to secure something, and left it open. In summary at the bottom right here, insecure databases continue to be a security thorn in company sides. Yeah, password protect your shit. Please.
People
just
will
quit.
be amazed at how many open directories I find. I'm
Oh,
like the
man.
open directory king.
There is so much.
I love redirects. Those are my favorite.
Well, and not only that, if you, probably Mo's been there a few times. If you go to Reddit/r open directories, oh man, there's just, and a lot of it's not even necessarily things like this.
Yeah,
Open directories is more just like, wow, someone just has all these movies on there, all this stuff in the clear that can be downloaded, and use a VPN, and yeah.
Yeah. Have fun.
Have fun. No, it's stupid just how many of these companies just leave things open, leave an Elasticsearch. Which I always laugh because people get like tinfoil hat, they're trying to secure their network, they're worried about their IoT and everything else, and most of the time their data gets dumped because of these companies going, well, we set up Elasticsearch, we weren't sure what to do, we had a username password authentication, and then we turned it off because we couldn't log in, and we thought, I'll fix that later, and then we opened it up and exposed it.
And then what? Stop using your work email for personal stuff, please.
And porn.
Oh,
Like, don't use your
especially
work email
porn.
for porn.
Especially
Wow, who's using
porn.
their government email address for
even needs
porn?
an email for porn?
So guys, I would be honest here, right? Like, sometimes when you're an asshole like me, you sign up for bad things.
Yes.
Using other people's emails. I'm Tom.Lawrence at Lawrence.
I am wondering though. I am wondering if they did that. So I seen it, and I don't know if they're verified emails or not. So that does make a difference. And they don't know either. It's just a
I've done
database
this
of
myself.
them.
I
Yeah.
know I have. I've done this.
Funny.
Not even to have an account, but just to send them the click here to authorize your account emails.
Funny story about that. Do you guys? I don't know. Was there? You might be too young to remember. Remember Fitness USA?
Yeah.
Remember they used to have boxes out where you could sign up for a free membership.
Oh yeah.
I would just, and it'd be a pad, and you could just sign up addresses and drop them in. They'll call the person and just
And they'll hound
basically
them.
market them to death.
That still happens. People do that to me still.
Man, I used to just sit there all
friend
day while I
signed
was
you
like
up.
waiting on my food and just fill out other people's addresses and drop them in there.
I'll also say I see someone post it in the chat forums, and they're right. I can't think of any time I've ever put my email address in any porn website.
That's what I'm saying.
Why do you need an account?
Yeah.
Why do you even need an account? I mean, I was born in 1991, so I've seen my fair share of internet porn, and I've never once had an account to any of my favorites.
Well, that's my theory. Once you've seen some porn, you want to see all the porn, and then.
It's a bad addiction.
Anyways,
It's worse than nicotine. At least they have a patch for nicotine. the big O patch.
The big O patch.
Holy shit. People be like having 5 patches on.
Okay, we are way off topic, but it's all right. We're all laughing
Hackers
about
are
It's
are
Friday.
off topic.
It's Friday.
It's
Sometimes
Friday.
We have to let loose a little bit.
50 watching, so why isn't there 49 thumbs up? I was asking the same question, Levi.
it. Well, at least we'll segue in. I mean, this
Oh
is,
my God, MoviePass. It was like, oh my God.
This was another one. Is in MoviePass where the other movies that you can watch at work or shouldn't be or
Well, you
whatever.
shouldn't be still.
You probably shouldn't be. But MoviePass didn't encrypt anything,
Nope.
and left it wide open. So
Can we just start making a tool? Oh, wait. We already do make a tool to scan to see if anything is vulnerable
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
on the edge
Yes.
or open. How come you guys aren't just doing simple port scanning? What's going on here? Like, why aren't we going to use Nmap?
58,000 records and counting. It was just containing customers' personal credit card numbers, their
Just
expiration
numbers.
date, which included billing information, including the names, postal addresses were among the records reviewed. Found records enough information to make fraudulent card purchases. You have their address, you have their name, you have their card number with their expiration date. Well, there you go.
Dude, so like literally you wouldn't, never mind.
Go
I'm
crazy.
I'm not even about to tell you how to use this data, but this is bad.
Terrible.
God.
Yeah. Hussein contacted MoviePass. Hussein's the person who found the
Yes, it's been
found the
out.
database. Executive Mitch Lowe by email, which TechCrunch has seen over the weekend, but did not hear back. It was only after TechCrunch reached out Tuesday when MoviePass took the database offline. That's one of those lines, and this goes back to StockX. When did StockX take action? When it
the
was in
media
TechCrunch.
dropped?
When the media dropped.
Yeah.
I also did learn they actually did some action beforehand. They knew, but did some cleanup. So there's going to be still messes around that.
This is
Because they actually took the they realized, but didn't realize if it was taken. They did take steps to start securing things several months ago, but it wasn't until TechCrunch they go, oh, I guess the data is out there. But they should have been looking for it if they're doing proper checking. And there's someone saying, $300, they'll sell you all the stock hacks. I got a bunch of sneakerheads numbers. You should look to see if yours is in there.
Right.
Like,
Right.
So this is interesting because, why is this still even a thing?
why does it take that many days
Like, is this
to get it
against
off?
PCI?
Oh yeah, I mean they're going to be facing fines, PCI compliance. They're going to get hit with everything left and right.
Didn't they have to have a test at least one time a year for PCI DSS?
Well, and this is where I have a problem with it. PCI DSS is bullshit. And
Hey, okay. I will come and make sure that you are PCI DSS compliant. Make sure that the bullshit is kept in order.
You were at the same conference as I, where they told us that 30% operational is fine.
30%.
30%. 30% for a large company is fine for them.
And by the way, Target was PCI compliant when they got breached.
Oh.
They were in compliance.
Well, they were.
Yeah.
I mean, that other 70%.
It was their HVAC contractors
That was not in
were
compliance.
not
This is the problem with PCI compliance as well. So the PCI compliance people focus way too much on port scans, which are, don't get me wrong, there's some validity to it, but a lot of them just stop there. We know. We've worked with fast food chains to help them get in complete PCI compliance, and the thing they'll complain about is having port 80 open to camera systems. Now, internally, we designed their network. It is a completely separate subnet. It is a physically separate, not even a VLAN, physically separate subnet that handles all of the card transaction and point of sale systems at these fast food chains that we handle. So you have proper network segmentation, a proper firewall for everything, and then they actually have dual firewalls because the guest network runs on a separate firewall. They do happen to share a common IP for the outbound. So we put the camera system on the same as the guest network, once again segmented as another segment of the guest network, but that way if you were to compromise the camera system, your lateral movement doesn't take you anywhere but the other guest network, which had port isolation based on Wi-Fi. So all the restrictions you could do internally
Tar
were...
pit.
Yeah, everything's done exactly the way you want it to done. Like, this is a cookie cutter, good layout for having guest network, having remote camera views and everything else. And port 80 and 443 for the camera system that we did not install, which was some crappy made out of pure Chinesium camera system with
Made out of Chinesium.
yeah, like with some stupid Internet Explorer plugin, and it probably got owned and whatever. But that's why we put it on a separate network. But they failed. That's what caused them to fail their PCI compliance.
We can't skip over Chinese.
This is what they made these things out of. Like, it's not even in good English when you're trying to read through the settings.
That's a good one.
So anyways, so they would fail PCI compliance because of that. And it's just a real aggravation because the PCI compliance people, they cared more about the port, not any of the internal network stuff. And they didn't even, there's not even a scan for the internal network. Their judgment was on that. So I will allegedly say, maybe you can do this in PF Sense. Maybe you can find out the name of the company doing the PCI audit. Maybe you can see them do a port scan. Maybe you'll block their ports. And then it just works. And they pass compliance. And here's the thing. You can go through the whole MoviePass system and audit everything. But if someone there doesn't say, by the way, we copied the entire database to some Elasticsearch server in the AWS cloud because it wasn't even viewed, because it was done by the marketing people or whoever to create an analytics database, which they said this database had 58,000 records and counting. They were growing. So it was being fed from somewhere else. Undoubtedly, it was someone in marketing, someone in doing analytics was saying, hey, I'm going to build this over here. So the PCI compliance people, they pass it. They don't know. It's out of scope. It's out of scope because the people running the DevOps probably didn't realize the data's on there. They know data gets moved to a cloud for analytics. They want to do some type of pivot and figure out what data's going through there to do some customer analytics. So the marketing team has all their data, and someone did a select all instead of select like name, login. They said, I don't know, select all. That's SQL shit. That's hard. It happens all the time. And goes back forever ago. Someone couldn't figure out how to copy a database out of a credit company for a large automotive, and we were there for the breach back forever ago. And they dumped the entire database with even the social security numbers for everyone who ever did a credit app. And it wasn't needed for the app developers. The app developers were handed this, and they're like, why did you give us so much data? And they're like, you said you wanted it. They said, we told you we just needed this data. But we just said basically select all and grabbed every table out of there and just dumped it. So there's a lot of nuances to how this data gets out there. And it's just a big mess.
Jim Cola says that somebody logged into his Microsoft account last night. Right.
But
Right.
What are you going to do?
Out of scope is my favorite scope, Michael.
Out of scope is my favorite. So now this one we got to dive into a little bit here.
Covert cross-network communication.
Overt.
Are we about to jump from land to land?
We are going to. Now, it
boy.
reminds me of Frogger.
Oh, yeah. Pull up Frogger. Put the people hip.
Yeah, we're going to get all this stuff on here. Cisco Frogger. I'm getting all this pulled up. I should have pulled up ahead of time.
Ooh, they said Jim Cola 99.
Ooh.
They logged in. Ooh, that's not really good, man. Do you have any? You might want to.
Well, yeah, let's
do some incident response and kind of some.
I just hope it wasn't any
Yeah, they
sensitive
logged
information
in.
there.
Hopefully, there's no sensitive information, bro.
Definitely quickly change your password. Set up MFA immediately. As soon as you get your password changed, set up multi-factor.
Do you use that password anywhere else? Change all of your passwords.
Yeah, you clearly use that password somewhere else. That'd be my best guess.
Now it's time to.
Microsoft's DevOps security is tight. The people get in because of passwords. Microsoft, Google both have really tight DevOps. So the bad news is they probably got in because of password spraying. You use a password on that porn site that just got dumped.
Exactly.
Just in case you did.
Even if the emails aren't real, the passwords are.
Yeah.
Added to the word.
Hey, the passwords are. I just had a customer talking to about their password management. I'm like, there's ways to go about this that doesn't include using actual words. Like, he just saw my Gmail password. What does it start with? Ooh, password manager. That last pass, I showed him my password. I don't even know my password. I just punched it into the Chromebook.
Yep.
And then it asked me for my security key.
It
Like,
did.
yo, where's your key at? And I'm like, man, that's with my computer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have or it's at the bank. One of the two.
Oh, all right. Let's jump over to here. Now this is an interesting dive. What we have here is the timing attacks against the network.
Oh, boy.
And so we talked before about the latest vulnerabilities in the Intel processors.
Spectre and Meltdown.
Spectre, Meltdown, and everything related to
It's that
that.
class of bug, right?
It's that class of bug, and it's really interesting. And by the way, don't panic about this. This is not likely. We still have yet to do a How They Got Hacked episode that involves someone getting breached by Spectre or Meltdown, because it's low entropy, and it's the same thing here.
I mean, but we still haven't done How They Got Hacked from anybody getting hacked by Bluekeep. And that was the meltdown. Oh my God, the world is ending.
Yeah, the world is
month.
ending, and it's
That was just last month that the world was falling down.
the world was falling down.
And then there was 7 more classes of RDP bug that just came out last week. And we still have no one breached using these. So, it's not like attackers are going to go procure these very advanced and sophisticated 0 days. These are nation states that are doing that.
Right.
Hackers are literally still just using those passwords. And ask Jim Cola, 99.
Sorry, Jim.
Sorry, Jim. But
they're using passwords, bro.
And the reality is it's a lot of the hackers are not as advanced as you may think. They're just going, I tried password 1. I typed in Hunter 1 and it failed. Hunter 2 passed. I mean, they're not using, the low-hanging fruit is where the majority of the noise is made on there. But this is still a really interesting, and I'm glad someone's poking away at this. So comes out of a research paper. It's a little bit tricky to break down the exact details, but picture being able to infer things, almost to give an analogy, be like putting your ear against the wall to kind of listen. Those type of vibrations coming through a wall, and you defer some information from them. Mm-hmm. You're doing it not at high resolution. It's small amounts of packets.
Laser on the window kind of
Laser on the window. Yeah, it's timing attacks. And they have to list out the CPU because they have to understand and these are MediaTek and Broadcom make ASIC chips that run some of these processors. So they're very specific. These aren't normal CPUs. They are very specific for routing at high speed. And what they do is they do a ping-f. So they do a packet flood on one side of the network. And then you're separating the networks logically with software, VLANs, or however the guest network routing is done within these chips. And you notice the timing difference. You take those ones and zeros and you build a differential table against these two pieces of information.
And then you see collision.
Yeah, you see the collisions to try to come up with the data. It's really detailed. Like it's really
It's a math
esoteric.
problem.
It's a math problem, which also means the speed of the processor is the limitation by which you can exfiltrate data. So it's not as easy to exfiltrate automatically, and it's wow. I mean, they broke things down, including using IGB join leave. They were doing some really interesting attacks. These are a whole series of attacks too, by the way. This is not like one attack. And the good news is it was able to do it with a Raspberry Pi on each side. So two Raspberry Pis that could not see each other, separated by logical firewall rules on separate subnets, but by flooding it back and forth, we're able to get in here and create enough noise between them that they could figure out the timing attacks in there. So they call it cross-site request forgery. CSRF works on some routers because the web management interface is exposed to the host. So they're able to go through, and then they have the timings in there, the results of silence and CVEs. So ARP SSH, ARP CSRF, ICMP. And what they're showing you is what was done on each side of the Raspberry Pi. One Raspberry Pi ran this, one Raspberry Pi ran this, and they could figure out based on the differences of when the other one was running. These guys spent some time doing this and created some CVEs on here. But don't worry.
A plethora of CVEs came out of this.
Yeah.
This is like being rewarded. This is like getting a Grammy. This is like having one of those nights where it's EGOT level.
Yeah.
Like, look at how many CVEs is that? That's 9?
Yeah.
9
CVEs out of here. And it's TP-Link, D-Link. There's a lot of consumer stuff on here, but these are still in use in a lot of places. Yeah. And it's a matter of time before they start really poking at this. I want to find, when I get in some research, I think it might be fun to poke at some of the more enterprise level equipment. We have a couple, I think I got a Cisco over there. I know I've got some Unify equipment behind me. That would be interesting to kind of poke at some of these other ones. They use similar hardware. There's really, when you get down to the nitty gritty of how hardware is made, there's not a lot of different manufacturers in the networking world.
There's not a lot of manufacturers. Like, once you even get beyond that, because I've been getting into a lot of reverse engineering, you start to realize that there's only a few chip manufacturers.
Yeah.
Atmel is huge. And you start to realize that a lot of the world is running on Atmel. And you're like, whoa, okay. So, like, when those Atmel chips have an issue, the same way that, some of these chips have issues, it's widespread.
Well, and you look at this with some of the equipment. When you start breaking down equipment and popping it open and looking at the chips inside, and I've done that with a few of the Unify, commercial routers that they have. You look at those routers, you're like, oh wait, that's the same Qualcomm chip that you can find on a plethora of different things. The software-defined networking functions of these are the big deal. It's the software that drives them that really makes a big difference on how any of this equipment works.
So once you hook up the logic analyzer and you find out how to turn those ons and offs.
Yes. And because they're attacking at the hardware level, you then extrapolate which other companies use that same Broadcom chip.
And then you have the strongest botnet of all botnets.
Yes.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah, and none of this can be exploited remotely. It takes some level of access to your network to do, because most of the ping floods are going to be stopped before they even traverse the internet. My friend at Arbor Networks will stop you before you ping flood something across anyways, because that's what he does. He stops all the DDoSing and all the stuff, and they got plenty of traffic shaping rules to stop you from doing this remotely. It's still an interesting attack. It's still, none of these attacks start out as good as they will get later. This is only going to improve. Once someone unleashed it, and these guys did this research paper of how they did it, trust me, 20 other people right now are poking away at every piece of hardware they got laying around, going, I wonder what happens if I do this. Well, these guys didn't, they skipped this whole section right here. And then someone like GeoHot ends up doing a talk again.
Yep. Hopefully one of these days I'll do a talk.
Yeah, it's how we do it. The internet is like both combination of inspirational and aspirational. Like you see someone do something, first they prove it's possible. You're like, huh, I didn't know you could do that. And next thing you know, a bunch of other people are trying it, and it becomes a competitive thing on there. I think one of the clearest examples was,
I think that's human nature too.
It's human nature to do it, but we're doing it at faster scales than ever. I remember one, I think it was his name was Hart. I just remember I used to follow motocross stuff, X Games stuff, and when he first did the backflip on the motorcycle, no one ever did it before. He did the backflip on a motorcycle and landed
the dude who owns Hart Huntington.
Yeah. And then everyone, now there's like people doing triples and everything.
Have you seen the 720 like quadruple like?
And people like doing it one-handed now.
Nice.
And before he did the first one, everyone said that's not possible. You can't do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And once he did it, it's on there like, oh, okay, now everybody knows how to do it.
Very cool.
It's
Now
just part of your training now. So when Xavier walked in the office today, I was digging in on this one. Ransomware.
We're back with the ransom talk.
Back with the ransom talk.
So listen, we about to start getting ski mask every time we talk about ransomwares. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have to get the Bitcoin wallets out.
It's so many ransoms going on.
It's too much.
Right now.
We can't even play.
It's all over the place.
I showed a map of ransoms. We don't even
Yeah.
sure how updated it is.
Do we have that? Do we have a picture of that?
Yeah, it's inside of Keybase.
Oh yeah,
right?
I'll pull it up in a second.
later, yeah.
It's pretty funny. I'll switch 3 local governments at once. That's even for a good hacking team. That seems hard. Or one account to 23 people, or maybe they all use the same IT company, and that IT company got popped, and then that IT company had 23 cities. I knew an IT company with more cities than that, and they do a good job. So I know them, and they're actually nice. They know what they're doing. Maybe they're watching. I don't know. At least one of them might be. Want $2.5 million to ransomware. And what I was doing when Xavier walked in was reading through the city council emergency meeting notes.
The emergency meeting. Gee, why would they need an emergency meeting?
Yeah, and there's ways you could find out a lot more data about what's going on. And there's some notes, and they brought in the Texas. It's like a government entity for what they call cyber
forces.
Cyber Forces Defense in Texas was brought in on this, and you can read through the meeting notes. And if you want to dig enough through meeting notes, you'll probably find some approved budget for some IT vendor, and then you can figure out what other cities the IT vendor is using, and then that's probably how the hacker was able to get that. So they popped the MSP, and we're seeing this constantly. They're popping these MSPs left and right. Me and Kyle from Hunter Labs have talked about this. Like these MSPs just need to turn MFA on. Like it's not. Once again, they probably had really tight VLANs and all the stuff that people ask me about, like, oh, I got to segment my network and my Google might be the source of attack. No, you didn't have MFA turned on and you used the same password on some porn site that dumped their database, or MoviePass that left their database exposed. I use the same password for MoviePass as I did for my logins that handle my machine that deploys all the software to all the cities. It's the same password on both. That's how stupid so many of the hacks are, which is sad. I mean, I would like a good debrief. I wish we could get better debriefs on some of these hacks. But the MSPs, there's so many legal layers. No one wants to say anything. Trust me, 23 cities hit. This MSP is getting sued every which way they can. They have so many lawyers, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's not going to go good for them at all. Because that's no one wants. The insurance companies will pay out, but the insurance companies will figure out who's going to pay them.
Tom with the ransomware tutorial.
That's what I'm laughing at over
Allegedly. Mind you, Tom runs an MSP, so he's just like ruining all of his competition at night, just deploying worms. The MSP worm.
Oh, I forgot to drop the show notes in, so I'll do that real quick.
But
yeah, it's a constant problem. As someone who runs an MSP, this matters a lot to me. Like
Jerk Pass. Oh my God, they are in rare form today. People need a separate password manager for adult stuff like Jerk Pass.
Jerk Pass.
That would be the most targeted password manager of all time. It should be a Tor browser too. I mean, it should be like a Tor browser extension. Like it only works over Onion.
I don't even know where Otto's got that Jerk Pass.
I like it, bro. I'm here for the Jerk Pass.
I'm not here for the Jerk Pass, bro.
I mean, you never really need to log in unless you buy in porn, right? Like who buys?
Where
porn
did you guys drop that link? I'm trying. Was it in DC 313?
No, it probably was on how they got.
There we go. We'll pull up the
ransomware war. Now, mind you, this is not us collecting data of all of the ransomwares that we've deployed.
No.
Because I know people that are like, I had a comment that was left like, yeah, you guys have been talking about StockX getting breached, and all of a sudden the StockX gets breached. And I'm like,
It
okay,
was
okay.
not us.
Calm down.
Oh, we're gonna get back to. I'm gonna drop it. You guys, these are all stuff you can't see. This is all show notes because this gets dropped back into there. So
Okay.
we'll talk about this too because this was kind of clever.
Xavier Tom is advertising.
But yeah, this is a ransomware map, and I don't know who updated this database. He found it on Reddit, and it's now on your screen.
There you go.
It's
From
being
Reddit
shared.
to you.
Yeah, it'll be in the final show notes. But
And look at how, like, so there's a key there, right? So there's municipality,
Got the
there's
show
medical,
notes. You got the
there's
show notes.
education.
Oh.
You said what, bro?
No, go ahead. My bad.
yeah, and they link to the stories that they have in here. So I don't know what scraper they were using to build this map.
But do you notice that Detroit is not on the map?
And
Out of all
we-
the places,
and we
in
know it
Michigan.
is. we just don't have links to the articles
Right.
on Detroit.
But it's amazing that, like, even the one that wasn't detected, but still, it's like Detroit is so technologically dead that everywhere around us gets hit with ransomwares except for us.
That's like how the KGB just uses typewriters. You're like, we're not worried about nothing. We're still
Exactly.
using typewriters.
Finished. Now we got green lights, so somebody will hack us soon.
We should do a video about Project Greenlight.
I don't know. I'm really passionate about it, and I'm afraid that I'll say the wrong stuff out loud. Like sometimes. Did you play with this yet?
No, we'll talk about it offline.
All right, cool.
I got some ideas. While we're at it, we will mention this because I have a Tesla, and this is something that I thought was kind of interesting.
So I sent this to Tom because Tom has an Android phone and I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very disappointed in the developers. I reached out to the developers and said, hey, how come I can't get this on Apple? And he said, because the Apple Garden of Eden. And I said, okay, that makes sense again.
Yeah, something they wouldn't
They wouldn't
allow.
even allow it. But look at this. This is amazing. Tesla is just coughing up all this data over radio because radio seems to be the safest place to put data now.
Well, it's interesting because they're just dumping all the key. The car's got Bluetooth in it, so it's going to dump that information. I'm not too worried about it, but I think it's interesting.
It's a privacy concern. If I set up a sensor, a mesh network of sensors,
yeah,
right, I can track you and what time you're going to certain places.
Doesn't Project Greenlight do that already?
But what if you're in Royal Oak? Now this is a mobile green light.
Yeah.
Now I'm tracking you.
Yeah, I mean, my car is
Scary.
beaconing out this information.
Scary.
You are not wrong.
That's petrifying. Not to mention, like, it's just petrifying.
Look, you know why?
My truck is probably beaconing out stuff too. We need to go ahead and make this for my damn truck. I got Bluetooth.
Yeah.
You're not the only person.
Oh yeah, infotainment systems are doing
It's
this.
just fucking scary.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of ways to track these vehicles. Infotainment systems in general.
TPMS, if you learn, if you can, man, there's things that you can do when it comes to cars. They're just spewing all this data over radio. They're connected.
Oh, yeah. All the time.
They're highly connected.
My scooter, anywhere it goes, there's no way to turn it off. I picked up an electric scooter and we were playing with it, and that thing is just
fun.
A scooter's fun.
It's
just
the Xiaomi M365,
Yep.
and it is something that I've been looking into breaking into because it is a bird scooter.
yeah.
But Bird has this special bird nest.
Yes.
And that's where all of the juiciness comes from, and that's what I've been focusing on.
He's been bird watching.
I've been bird watching. Definitely been bird watching, trying to make sure that I don't do too much damage.
Yeah.
Trying to squeeze some limes.
You know what I'm saying?
Squeeze some
Trying to get a little
limes.
something going.
Grab some
Have
birds.
some fun.
Take
Get
a
on the
spin.
DEF CON stage.
Get on a DEF CON stage.
All of your bird belongs to us. You get what I'm saying? I just have the bird botnet where I can make them like, if I just pick up the phone and I call in and all of the birds pick up because they have cellular modem. Oh yeah, they have cellular modem. Oh, and they have a board on board that allows you to be able to, it's a whole entire thing. So I pick up the phone, ring, it automatically answers, and then I can just talk on the phone into the bird speaker. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
I actually just want to change the alarm. I just want to
Make it a cat noise. Meow, meow. Instead of like, eh.
Nah, I'm gonna make it scream in agonizing pain.
Ah, ah, ah. That's hilarious. But that's the kind of fun stuff that hackers should be doing, right? Like, we shouldn't be breaking into banks and shit. Like, if I went to court for that, it's because they're, like, suing me for money, not because I'm, like, about to go to jail.
Yeah.
Like, they're never going to take me to jail for hacking a bird scooter. And if they do, like, people are going to try and beat me up in jail for hacking a bird scooter. Like, How dare you be here for this
You
dumb
know,
shit?
it's one of those things. Is I'm obviously from a tracking standpoint. Where's Tom at any given moment? Google knows where I'm at because my phone's beacon information
Verizon
constantly.
does, or are you AT&T?
Google Fi. So I'm on Google Fi, but they still same.
That's Verizon, though.
No, they use AT&T and T-Mobile.
Okay.
And a couple other carriers they have agreements with small carriers in a few like obscure areas too. That way they have coverage in kind of rural areas. I've been on Google Fi. By the way, being on Google Fi, and this is not laying down the gauntlet, guys, to try to attack Tom, but I will say, I trust Google because to my knowledge, I have seen nobody that has been able to get into Google's system because it's tied to my Google account. And I have not seen anyone who's gotten into Google's system versus T-Mobile. Dude, oh man, I really forgot my SIM card. Can you just give me? Yeah, my name's Tom. All right. We've watched all the carriers fall one by one, and like that guy who lost his money from Bitcoin, every time it was these SMS.
John McAfee.
Yeah, SMS spoofing and all that stuff because they were able to call the carrier, they were able to talk to the carrier without any proper credentials right into giving your stuff because the carriers are made for the masses and phone carriers were not built with security in mind from day one. Yeah. Google's been thinking about this stuff in the tech world, so when you want to do any changes on Google Fi, you can only do them with my authenticated Google account. There is no way to talk to them. You can't even pick up the phone and call them. Nope. You have to have a login to a Google account to talk to a person. I cannot even with the phone number call. And everything is I have to generate a token to talk to them.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's,
you have to.
That's solid security. They've done it right.
And then if you ever lose your password, they make you take like 5 pictures. You have to send a picture of your ID. You have to take a picture by the lamp, hold it with
Dude, we
date.
had a client, I had the credit card on file. They lost their G Suite account because the owner changed his password and didn't use LastPass. Oh. And he was, or something. He didn't save the change. He couldn't get in.
That happens. You got to be careful with LastPass. You have to copy the password out.
And then he was using an old Yahoo email as the backup, which he did not have the password to either. So they would send a reset code in order that. The only solution, we were on the phone with Google, and the only thing Google told us to do was we had to delete his whole account. Yeah. We had to purge all of his users, dump his email. Now, the good news is all of his users, we could get their email out. We just couldn't get the owner's email out because he had no access to his account. The users had all their logins. So we dumped all the users. Actually, a great Python script someone wrote from the command line. You can actually grab a Gmail account, provided you have the proper authentication tools, dump it all to a file, delete the account. They had to have no email for 24 hours because Google had to let the account purge, and we had to re-register their company with G Suite and reset up all the users again, and then we pushed all the data back for each account. Oh, this cost them a fortune. They were not happy. They're like, well, isn't there a deal? I'm like, this is the man hours in it. There's no way around it. You want all that data. This is what has to be done. Like
he still lost all of his email.
He lost his. There's nothing we could do. We knew the credit card on files. Google, we even said, well, you're auto billing his card because it's a business G Suite account. Yep. The name on the card is his. Yep.
If he had used JerkPass, no problem.
But here's the great thing about Google. Here's something awesome. If you've been using JerkPass, but here's the great thing that Google did though. Like to tell you how good they are. Like, can we read your credit card number? They said we only have the last 4 digits. They were like, we don't have the whole credit card number. We encrypt it. Like Google's like, we can't do things like this.
Yeah. Right.
So no matter how much we begged and pleaded, and we're on the phone with people. And by the way, to get on the phone with Google, if you lose your G Suite access to your account, to get on the phone with Google, we had to use our G Suite code. Call them. They kept thinking it was our account. We had to explain to them. We got someone on the phone. We're doing this on behalf of somebody else because you also can't call Google without the tokenized code to talk to support.
Tom, I'm getting anxious. I'm like losing my shit right now.
What?
Because I don't want to lose my Google account.
Oh
now.
no,
they are so
fucking fine.
This is why I don't mind having Google Fi.
Oh my god, that's why my backup Google to my Google is a Google.
I have went through some shit.
I got a Google that back up my Google.
Yeah, I do too.
I have went through some shit to get the Google accounts for clients because people do dumb things.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Sheesh, that's just a lot.
So anyways, that's why I'm with Google Fi, by the way. But back to the other discussion I had, though, when it comes to going offline, and I've talked about this, me and Anthony had a good discussion about this because he does this too. So with Google Fi, besides all the other tracking and everything that goes on, we go offline. One of the ways you go offline is I turn off my phone. And I don't take my Tesla, so no one knows where I'm at, because the Tesla's got 4G on it and everything else.
Also Bluetooth. That would just
Also Bluetooth.
let me know that you're at
Well, Bluetooth's a proximity thing. The 4G, trust me, there's better ways to figure it out.
I'm driving past the dispensary and I just see, oh, there's Tom.
There's Tom.
The adult bookstore. There's Tom. I'm just on 8 Mile. Tom again. Look at him. It's scary that all of these things are on 8 Mile. Also, you can see Eminem on 8 Mile.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. You can't see it.
There's a movie about that, something like that. But, if you want to go offline, you really have to consider all the factors. There's always ways they can find you, and I still I have like motorcycles / scooters, my old Hondas and things like that, there's nothing. Matter of fact, they are, as my friend who wears a tinfoil hat a little bit too tight, he calls them the bug out bikes, because he's worried about the government could EMP pulse and destroy electronics and blah, blah, blah. And that is real. EMP pulses is a thing, and it can destroy electronics. And in a normal car, the ignition system does manage by a computer, so you could destroy it. But my Hondas are so old that they are immune to it, because there's no electronics on my old Hondas. They're old magneto start systems. They're sparks.
There you go.
So if you really want to go offline, you got to go like that. And
but you're only going to be able to do 40 miles an hour.
Yeah. My scooters go about 50.
I just think about it like this. Like, if the government wants to EMP shit, then they're also EMPing all of those.
Everything around it.
F-16s and F-18s and those tanks and all those cars from GM. I live right next to FCA, so all of those utility trucks, useless. Like, that is such a widespread attack that it's ruining things that are of interest to them.
Yeah, it's a least likely scenario for them to do it.
There's another country that may want to do that kind of thing.
Yeah,
but I can't see our country wanting to use it against us.
Right, it's too disastrous of a thing to do it to a large scale EMP.
I think our country been working on controlling the size of.
I mean, you could just burn down the Amazon and just
make it like a little EMP cannon.
Burn the whole Amazon.
Just shoot it at a car like pew.
Ooh.
There's concepts.
You said straight out of Fast and Furious 2?
Yeah.
Where they just shot the little clones in the car?
That's not far off.
Mm-hmm. It just takes the thing with the EMP pulse is it takes
jerk pass will protect you from EMP pulse.
Yeah, that's
right. This jerk pass thing has to go on the shirt.
It is jerk pass.
Jerk pass. This protects you from EMP pulses.
Maybe we got to make a product. I think there's a missed opportunity here.
Jerk pass just for us to last.
There's someone in Silicon Valley who will fund this.
I don't know.
It's like a condom.
Kickstarter.
It's like a Kickstarter. The last thing I have.
What you got? Steam fucking up again? This is a Russian site, so you just got pwned.
I just got pwned.
Immediately.
Well, and here's where it gets a little off the rails. So, one more Steam Windows Client Privilege Escalation 0 day. And this person actually got, you got to read this.
30 Gs?
Yeah. Team Valve elected to no longer receive reports from you. You will still be able to comment on past reports. If you have any questions, contact support at hackerone.com. The team banned you.
Wow.
Banned him for dropping 0 days. He dropped too many of them, they're saying, and he's like, all right. Now, I did a little reading on this person. He's apparently a well-respected...
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. Steam, don't do this.
Don't do this. Don't go there.
That's a really, really bad way to treat a security researcher. You
Right.
banned him because he's finding bugs in your program?
Through HackerOne, by the way.
Right.
Through HackerOne.
Oh, okay. So I want to reach out to this guy and get all those bugs, just third party.
Now, let me put it up here. See all the scrolling?
He's doing time.
This is some serious. This is the same thing. This is a good debrief, write up, step.
Literally, I just posted about this. The worst nightmare as a security. Everybody's like, "Oh man, it's so hard to get in security," and I'm empathetic. It is hard to get in security, but once you get into security, it's hard to get paid. You're telling someone their baby is ugly, and then they're just like, "Fuck you, my baby's not ugly," and it's like, I'm trying to help you. I just want to help you. Make the baby look cuter, right? Like,
yeah.
You have to accept that it's ugly first, though. And a lot of people are unwilling to accept that they're vulnerable, unwilling to accept that they haven't made the best decisions.
Yep.
And they say, "Oh, this is by design. This is we thought that it would be medium, but it's really low. So we're gonna give you $100. We usually would give $100, so we're gonna give you $150.
Oh no, my favorite. Why would anybody want to do that?
Yeah.
Right. This is not an attack.
Now,
vector.
I mean, we shouldn't worry about it.
This has a happy ending, and it.
Oh, yeah?
Man, what is that today? Is that today's date?
The 22nd.
22nd? Yesterday. Yesterday they did update this. Beta client got the update fixed. One, they acknowledged it, they fixed it, and they changed all their policies to not have the problem with them anymore. So he's unbanned. It sounds like he's unbanned. Everything's back to normal. They have
There you go.
updated policy. So
They
there
must have
is a
got like they must have
happy
went under like a terabyte of a DDoS.
Yeah.
And we're just like, oh shit, let's not do that.
I'm gonna follow Mr. Felix,
Felix.
aka
Zaytois?
Zaytois. I'm not sure how you say it. Zaytois. Zai. I'm not sure. I'm bad
The
with names.
Windows privilege escalator. And I'll be honest with you, that's the hardest fucking thing to do. So like, I'm gonna go follow this guy too and be like, listen, please teach me the ways of Windows privilege escalation.
I'm gonna highlight
Kyle.
Kyle follows him too.
Yep, he's
So,
an ex-NSA guy.
Mm-hmm.
So
File Kyle, by the way. If you guys are looking for some security people to file, we'll throw this out there.
Swift on security follows him too.
Yeah. Swift on security's funny.
Yeah.
But definitely File Kyle. Been following him. He's CEO of Huntress Labs, and he's also working on producing some more content. I've been messaging back and forth and helping build a studio.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to be.
Tom's helping everybody build a studio. If you go look at my Instagram, I'm building a studio.
Helping Xavier build a studio. I'm helping Kyle build a studio. I mean, those guys at Huntress Labs are awesome. They do some awesome security research. So they're working at ways to better feed you with that information.
Also, after you get finished following him, follow me at Infinite, INFENET. I'm just going to throw it out there. Like, you know, people are always like, how do you get into cybersecurity? Well, you go and you follow me, and then you look at my first tweet after you follow me.
Mm-hmm.
So my first tweet right there, the pinned tweet, if you scroll down just a little bit.
Yep.
Right there, if you click on that, that will literally teach you how to be in security.
Yeah.
Am I wrong, Tom?
Nope.
And this goes directly to Tom's page.
Mm-hmm.
We could have a little inception right now, but I don't know if YouTube will allow it.
Oh, they will. I don't.
I don't know. Like, will the ad spend count, or will it like multiply times 62? Right? Like.
Yeah, there we go.
62.
But yes, you can watch this. And Xavier interviews this guy. I mean, this is
Chris Roberts.
Chris Roberts, man. I mean, this is the guy. He hacking trains and planes and automobiles.
All types of shit. He also so last year he did a talk at DEF CON about hacking nanobots. And these nanobots are like experimental and they're being used in the army and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And what they do is they will have these tiny robots that they actually inject into you. And let's say you like have like a gunshot wound and they're trying to like, you know, send certain chemicals to that exact spot so that it heals better. Mm-hmm. They'll send these nanobots and they'll detect based on chemical. You know, they'll jerk pass is real. Sorry. So they look at the chemicals and then they'll attack based on those chemicals. Well, he figured out how to take electronic suture and send signals through the suture through the body to control the nanobots to kill you.
Biohacking.
Biohacking. Yeah. And he also has like he was just telling me about this thing that he made where he can start his car with his mind. Yeah. He can literally start his key. He can just think like, I want to unlock this door, and then the door unlocks.
I want to say the channel is ran by Motherboard. I think it's ran by Vice. Mm-hmm. I think they've done a couple of videos on that.
So yeah, he's on bleeding edge stuff, man.
Yeah.
Hey Xavier, remember your Keybase, Xavier too. Oh yeah. Hit me up on Keybase. Xavier D Johnson on Keybase. I got books in there. So go get those before I get sued.
I'll go get those.
Yeah, go get those before I get sued. I still haven't gotten sued yet, but it's probably it's a matter of time. I'm doing this for you. Go get it.
I did laugh at this just because he brought up biohacking. I watched this. This girl, hacker, biohacker, and she did implant a under her skin her Tesla Model 3 key, so she can just come up to her car and unlock it. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Very nice.
Kind of novel. She goes through the whole process of how she did it and everything else. Pretty neat. I don't know. So at Penguin Con, and I imagine this is going on at DEF CON too, a lot of people get those implants in their hand right here. You guys see? Do they do that at DEF CON? Do people get those implants, the RFID tags?
I hadn't seen it, no.
I was there one of the years at Penguin Con. I have some video of it. They have a team that comes in and they'll inject the RFIDs.
Like right here.
They put them right here because one, it's an easy spot to do it. It doesn't bother the palm of your hand, and you then have an RFID tag, and then you can take that RFID tag and do NFC with your phone, so you can make it so your phone unlocks on NFC as soon as you grip it.
And it also feds got you though.
Well, no, they don't know it's there because you're not unless you tell someone it's there, but. It's kind of a neat concept, and what they'll do.
I want to have a chip like if I touch my phone, it wipes it. There you go.
You can do that too. You can just so they like you put the wiping one in this hand, and then you just go in this hand.
Until you need this hand for something, you're like,
you grab it. Like, I just wipe my phone.
Or you just like wipe other people's phones. Oink, oink.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of a neat concept doing that because then you're going a step further because you're not using the problem with biometric authentication is it's something you are. It's something immutable about yourself. It is not something that you can just change. So the problem with any of these fingerprint IDs is it's spoofable. My fingerprint is the same as it always has been. So if you want to using fingerprint unlock on my phone, you can. I do like the fact that Google has features on these phones to lock them by doing things like if you hold the key, or you can do this. If you double tap real quick, now the fingerprint unlock quit. So anytime I think there might be a problem, you can just quickly double tap a phone, and that's a feature on these. It will disable fingerprint because if you've seen my lock screen, it says come back with a warrant. And that warrant does not include my password. That way, because yes, I use fingerprint, but I also have it limited to how many times it will do it, and it makes me have to type a code in more frequently than usual. But that's part of it. So
SecOps.
Yes, I think about that. You get pulled over. I'm like tap tap. Unlock the phone. That way I can't fingerprint it. They can compel you to put your finger on the phone. That's something you are. They cannot compel you to give your password. That's a different type of warrant they need for that. Just think about that for a second. So if you are using passwords, think about how you're going to handle it, how you're going to handle your OPSEC for that. And it's a personal thing. It's not that I'm even doing anything wrong. It's just a personal belief that I should be able to do that. I think that's all I got for the news. That was the last article I had. You guys got anything else?
Come to DC 313 on Wednesday.
Come to DC 313 on Wednesday. We've been rambling on for an hour now, so we we gave you guys a good show. Is there questions in there besides Jerk Pass? Someone said Jerk Pass had a leak.
Left hand. Oh God.
I'm sure there's some good
left
puns.
hand jerk pass is like a stranger. Man, oh man.
I'm sure we can pun this to death.
This is going left for sure.
It's going left, man. Do the stranger.
Jim Cola giving himself a stranger.
Yeah, someone asked if the Pixel has.
Not a stranger.
Yeah, the Pixel does have the way to send it in lock mode. That's a feature you can turn on. Someone asked that.
You should just be able to say, "Hey Siri, tell the fuzz to get fucked," and then it just like wipes.
Yeah, that's it's password. Fuck the fuzz.
Right. Like,
that's probably you know what though, in some advice, if you haven't seen it, I do get a kick out of those lawyers. Have you seen those lawyers that do those
shut the fuck up Fridays?
Oh, yeah.
Shut the fuck up Fridays?
Shut the fuck up.
Dude, that's
Somebody comes to your house with a warrant, you shut the fuck up.
You shut the fuck up. That's
Go down to the station, shut the fuck up. Looking at the judge, shut the fuck up.
Someone said cicada.
Up for appeal, shut the fuck up. Just shut up. Just don't fucking talk. Like, you will save you. Like, if they knew everything, they wouldn't even talk to you. They don't talk to school shooters. Mm-hmm. They go get them cheeseburgers and shit. 'Cause that's it. It's over. You ain't never seeing light again, baby. It's done. You getting a Happy Meal. It's over.
Yeah, it's a it's one of those things that what's the guy's name that they let off, the malware guy who stopped the
malware attack? Marcus Hutchins.
Marcus Hutchins.
Mm-hmm.
So much of, if you read the whole debrief of his case, he tried the defense of, oh, I was drunk and tired and you were asking the wrong questions, and he just didn't shut the fuck up. Yep. He didn't lawyer up. He started just talking.
But see, he got caught to begin with because he wasn't shutting the fuck up. Everybody knew that he was the UPass guy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Like, if I was the guy behind all of the ransomwares, I wouldn't be out here just like, yeah. Like, I wouldn't be here talking about ransomware every week.
Yeah.
I would shut the
ransomware?
fuck up.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of
Never
ransomware.
heard of ransomware.
You said, what does it do?
What does it
Is
do
it for your
again?
car?
Is it for your car?
Is that a new raisin brand you said? I don't drink cereal milk. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, it's the thing, yeah.
It's a whole thing, bro. Like, it's hard to be malware tech when you're writing malware. That's a fucking bad idea. Like, yeah. You saw how this played out in Training Day. You can't, like, you can't be out here.
And if there's any advice we can give you, if you ever are in anything questionable, shut up.
Yeah, shut the fuck up and move on. Like, leave that life and just move on to something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get a lawyer. Lawyer up.
Spin that bag.
Yeah. I had a friend, and he's an ex-friend now because he's stupid. And but that's how he got busted, was he couldn't shut up, and he was bragging because back in around 2012 or so, he was popping cable modems because you could, back early days of cable modems, the speed at which you got that you paid for, let's say I want to buy XYZ speed circuit, you bought it, but it wasn't controlled by the cable company at the head end. It was controlled by your cable modem. They would push firmware to control the speed. Get a copy of the right firmware, push the other firmware, and offer it as a service to everybody, including an undercover person who busts you. He's like, no vetting.
And the undercover guy was literally just being nefarious. And after he used the service, he was just like, fuck it, I'm going to bust this guy too.
Yep, and that's no problem. He didn't shut up, and then he also didn't lawyer up. That was his second mistake, and he ended up with a couple felonies on it.
Oof, and those felonies are hard.
Felonies are hard. Yeah.
They get pretty
You don't want
hard.
the felonies.
No Self said, "What's up with the Virgin Plaintext password deal?"
Oh,
we didn't talk about it.
I mean,
it is. What it is.
Virgin. Oh
It
yeah,
is
I
being
tweeted
shitty.
that, and that's just Virgin's clearly. Now this isn't a breach. Virgin just is able to send people their passwords via mail, like snail mail, like physical mail, and but they are doing it. The fact that they have it means they're not using bcrypt. They're not even using MD5.
the fact that they could,
They're not hashing passwords. They have the passwords, which makes them ripe for a breach. But also, the scary part about unhashed passwords is the fact that the staff there has access to your passwords.
Yeah.
There's everything wrong top to bottom, and they're doubling down on it. They're not trying to deny any of it. Matter of fact, that's one of the things I had tweeted, because No Stuff, I think, tagged me in it, and I grabbed the screenshot. And the reason I grabbed a screenshot instead of retweeting the person's original tweet about it was because undoubtedly some of that gets deleted later, so I grabbed a screenshot so you can see that Virgin was like defending their position on it.
Yeah.
But then again, the people running a social media are reactive. They're like, hey, let's keep the flow going. We're trying to be snarky here on Twitter and keep everyone happy. And the DevOps security engineer probably wakes up, goes, what the hell were you guys thinking? Do you have no concept? Like, there's some meeting that happened, and I didn't look to see if the tweets are gone.
Of course it's illegal to open up other people's mail, silly.
There's some, like, 20-year-old intern going, oh, I thought that was fine.
Jeez.
They probably send you your password plain text if you request it.
I'll probably read it to you over the phone.
Read it to you over the phone.
R as in Red Bull.
Yeah, I know they were bragging about it on Twitter. The question is, are they still? I didn't go back and follow up because tweets get lost, and there's so much. Like, is this Virgin? They're just.
What this should do is motivate you. If you're trying to get into this space, people are still making these mistakes. Mind you, being a red teamer, you're not going to be able to fix this mistake. This is a blue teamer's job to fix.
Yep.
This is a defender's job. So all those people out there are like, oh, I want to be breaking into shit. I want to be a penetration tester. I want to be on the red team. You won't get to save your company in the ways in which you want to. There's no way. They could probably have the best red team in the world. Their logo is red. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Like, they probably have some of the best red teamers in the world, but they aren't going to be able, they aren't requesting password resets.
Right. Though all those are just more pieces of the puzzle. It's more, it's not getting fixed. It's just finding it. And we need more people on the other side, the blue team, the cleanup crew to get in there and do it. It's not always about budget. Sometimes it's just about not knowing that it's in there. We need more people in security. Right now there's a big demand. There's a lot of unfilled positions. Even if they're lower starting positions, it gets your foot in the door for it. Get out there, man. It's a lucrative market right now.
Very lucrative. I'm
Movie
trying to think
recommendation.
of a good fucking movie recommendation for
I've been
Greg.
watching Billions, man. I'm on a roll with it.
Billions?
still haven't
Billions is
checked it
good.
out.
I haven't done any movies lately. I'm not really the hugest movie guy, I'll be honest.
I do know the new Mindhunter. Did you watch season 1 of Mindhunter?
Nope.
Season 1 was amazing. Season 2's out. I'm excited for that because as soon as I'm done with Billions, I'm powering through season 2, then season 3, then season 4 of Billions, and then I'm going to go back to Mindhunter. Mindhunter profiles serial killers, which is very interesting. Mindhunter season 1, I would actually give it a good recommended list because...
Was that the one where the lady that strapped a bomb on that guy and he went to go rob the bank and then he was like, no, this is serious. Like,
No,
I really
that's
got
a different movie.
I really got a bomb strapped to my neck and
Yeah,
I didn't believe
yeah.
it and it blew up.
Yeah, that's a whole different movie.
Blew the whole guy's head off.
Yeah, that's a different movie. The Mindhunter is about the history of the BHU, the Behavioral Unit, something that the FBI's forming before the word. This where the word serial killer comes from. Serial killer comes from, is from the Behavioral Unit. So this was the inception of it. This dates back to I think it starts in the 60s or 70s, and it's when they started realizing there's more to the killings, and they wanted to dig into the psychology of it. And before, criminals were just treated as crime and criminals, not diving deeper into the psychology of it. And they interview, and God, the guy. If you look up the difference between the movie and what happened in real life, the guy they had portraying the killer in the first season, he plays the part really well, and it's also very scary because that's the way they interviewed him for when they were trying to solve this guy. He turned himself in. The name's the guy Mindhunter season 1. I'll have to look it up of who it follows, but the killer turned himself in. He got bored of killing people. Like, he just did it, and he decided to turn himself in, and it's actually part of a true story. These are based on, like, real facts. Mindhunter Season 2 is all about following Charles Manson around. And when you see Charles Manson, if you ever read anything about him, it's almost interesting to think that one person caused so much chaos.
Oh, for
and
sure.
Charles Manson's an unassuming individual. He's not big. He's not tall. He's not like this monster, but he has a personality. He's a monster, but not like you think. And it's really weird how, and that's what makes it interesting, is how does someone like that cause so much chaos? How does one person, so iconic in the history of murders, and that's what a lot of that they dive into. It's very psychological, which is very interesting. Nice. And it being based on true stories makes it that much crazier.
I've been watching Black Mirror. It has a lot of cool tech in it.
I like Black Mirror all the way to the last season. The last season just season 1, episode 1, they came out so strong.
Yeah.
When you fuck a pig on the first season, day 1,
yeah,
it's downhill from there. It's hard to top that one. But it's great. Black Mirror's good. I like it. I just didn't like the last season as much. It didn't really do it.
Features a lot of cool tech. That's why I like it. One episode has a hacker in it, actually. It was called The Black Museum. I forgot what season, what episode.
Oh, that is really good.
The one in the middle of the desert?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Where she traps the guy and where her
Yep.
Now, side note, the doctor who could feel other people's pain. That short story.
Yeah, it was all in the same.
It's all in the same, but that particular story was actually written by Penn Jillette of Penn and Teller.
Okay.
He wrote that as a story of a doctor who could feel pain, and then he gets addicted to the ability to feel pain.
Yeah.
Now, what's also interesting is Penn Jillette was originally going to be cast as the curator of the museum that was in the middle of the desert.
Oh.
And they ended up finding someone else to do it, which is fine. The guy did a great job.
Yeah.
But Penn Jillette, as I listened to his podcast, was talking about, one, they used his short story because he is friends with the guy who created Black Mirror, and he shared that story with them, and then the guy wrote and embellished it, made it better, and then it turned into, he was originally talking about casting him for that, which I thought would have been really cool, because I'm a fan of Penn Jillette, and I thought it would be kind of neat. So, anyways, yeah. So Black Mirror, that was season 2 or 3.
I believe that was...
I think it's 3.
3? That had the Black Museum episode?
Yeah, Black Mirror Museum episode. So let's look that up. We gotta know now. What are we telling people to watch here again? Let's see. This is season 4, episode 6. So for just so we have it on here, the Black Mirror, Black Museum was season 4, episode 6. So good, so good.
Yep.
Yeah, and it says the pain addiction right there. Pain addiction, first story, Penn Jillette. He wrote that first story on there. So watch that. That one's dark. So good.
You can find it.
It's a Netflix. If you're on Netflix,
Oh, yeah.
Most people have a Netflix subscription. They haven't all canceled
I was
yet.
going to drop a link for people who don't have Netflix, but I don't know if that's legal.
I don't know if it's legal or not.
Yeah.
Wink and a nod, you can find it.
Right. Get your Google Foo on.
Oof.
Get your Google Foo. It's available. It's around there.
I'm looking at the Showdown 2000 and I just saw a ransom note.
Ransom note.
Sorry to say, all your files have been encrypted. Blah, 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 blah. That shit is an exposed RDP.
Anything else for the good of the class? Do we have anything else?
Have a good weekend. Drink
have
beer.
Have a good weekend. The shoe guy.
Close those directories and stop using those same passwords.
Manson died a long time ago. Did Charlie Manson? I don't know. Did Charlie Manson die? I don't know.
Charlie or Marilyn?
No, Charles Manson, the crazy guy.
What's the difference between Charles and Marilyn?
Marilyn is a performer.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he died. Charles Manson died November 19th, 2017, so almost
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
I knew he died.
Maybe
but
he's talking about Marilyn.
Oh, Marilyn Manson did that.
Like, we don't know.
Marilyn Manson?
Puff Puff password? Man.
Marilyn Manson. I don't think Marilyn Manson died.
Doesn't look like
He's
it.
still around wearing freaky makeup and stuff.
There you go.
Yeah, he's still around. Wow, he's 50. I'm old. Because I remember Marilyn Manson. My sister used to tour with Marilyn Manson. It's a
Yeah?
whole other story.
Oh yeah.
She used to tour. My sister used to do the artwork for Nashville Pussy, and they were the opening act for Marilyn Manson. She'd do some of the cover art and stuff. That's a whole. My sister's eccentric. I'll just say that.
Let me see. Do we have anything else for him?
I think that's
Gave
it.
him a good hour and a half.
Puff
or so.
Puff Pass. Yeah, 2017. Someone posted on here. All right. Well, we're gonna wander off. We are.
It's Friday.
It's
We're winding
Friday.
Down.
We're winding down, stretching out.
Yes.
Oh man.
Everybody, go have some fun.
Go have some
things.
fun. Get out there and enjoy it. Get out there, RTFM. Do some learning. Read through all the show notes we have, which I'm going to drop in now or I'll forget. But read through those show notes. Read through some of these debriefs. If you want to get into this, man, if you want to get into HackerOne, you want to make a living being a hacker, you want to get into the mindset of these people posting these 0 days, they do good write-ups. They're so much better at me than it. I just like doing videos because I'm way too lazy to type. My employees concluded that the other day. They're like, do you just do videos because you don't feel like typing anything up, Tom? I said, yeah. Because I was making them do one of my documentations for a project I finished. So it's like, why am I doing documentation? I said, because one, I sign your check. Two, I just don't like typing. If I can get away with not typing and have you do it, or if I could do a video description of everything I did, I'd be perfectly happy. So that's just my prerogative for things.
All right.
All right. Awesome. Thanks.
That's it. Xavier, press the button.
Yep. Press
Get us
the
out
button.
of here.
Oh.
Get us out of YouTube land.
Get us out of
That's
YouTube
one.
land. Yeah, that's the one.
Peace.
Peace.